All of the ingredients used to make this product were sourced from Soak Rochford Limited, a UK-based company that posts worldwide. If you like this video, then be sure to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and even turn on that notification bell if you like. Hi guys, it's Jay from Soak Rochford, and today we're going to be making our body scrub number 1 assessment up. This one is scented in fairy drops, and we've put in an example recipe below. I've pre-measured out everything already, just for time and ease really. So in here we have our measurement of Stephenson's OPC foaming bath butter base, measured and ready to go. We have Apricot Kernel Oil, Kaolin Clay, we have POLYSORBATE 80, we have some Granulated Sugar in this one, we have our fragrance, and then in these two, these are the colours we're going to use. So we have our Milky Way white mica mixed up with some alcohol, and we have in here a combination of our pink and also our purple non-bleed pigment colours. This one is our green coffee exfoliating scrub. An empty pot that we're going to pipe it into, and our piping bag. The nozzle that we're using today is a 9FT nozzle. You don't need to weigh all these out separately. I just wanted to show you what they're like really individually. So we'll be using our Heska mixer with a scrape paddle attachment on it. You don't need to use a mixer. You can use an electric hand whisk. Just for simplicity of the video really, we're deciding to do it this way. So I'm just going to move some of these out of the way. So firstly we're going to start off on a nice slow mixing speed. So we're going to drop that down. I can see it started to mix nicely already. We want this to near enough double in size. So we're going to continue to mix, working our way to a faster speed before we start adding our other ingredients in. Okay, so we're going to stop the mixer, open it and just scrape the edges, make sure that everything's in there as it should be. So we want it nicely incorporated, but if it's got odd lumps and bumps, there's nothing to worry about because it's a scrub anyway, so it's going to be scrubby. One last quick whiz. This is going to be a faster speed, and the idea is just to make sure it's all incorporated nicely. We have a nice smooth mixture. Next, we're going to add in our exfoliants, so our sugar and our green coffee. These don't need mixing really quickly. You don't want to start dissolving the sugar, so it's just a gentle folding really. You can do this by hand because it's in the bowl already. We'll utilise that. This in total was just mixing for 1 minute. You'll see that I stop it and just have a good scrape down and around to make sure everything's mixed in properly. So using a separate bowl, we're going to halve this mixture, and then we'll be able to colour each one separately. base is predominantly white anyway. We can see that we have the specks in there because of the green coffee, but I do find that adding in some white mica adds a bit more sort of a sheen and a nice smooth colour to the base itself. Again, this is just mixing for 1 minute, and it's just to make sure that white spreads nicely throughout. You'll see that it makes it look a little bit more luxurious by the time it's finished. White finished. Scrape that white back in that bowl. So if you're doing multiple colours, do the palest ones first, and that will mean that you don't have to wash your attachments in between. That's our white body scrub ready. So this was the uncoloured base, which we'll be adding back into the mixing bowl and colouring pink, pinky purple. Again, this clip is about 1 minute long. We do speed it up a little bit so it's not such a long video for you. We'll obviously stop halfway through. There's a bit of a theme here. Have a scrape down and leave it to mix for a little bit longer. That's our mixer done with for today. So the pink by itself is a very nice pink. It's very bright, in your face, sunglasses required pink. By adding the little bit of purple in there, we've managed to keep the vibrancy, but just make it a different shade. All of our colours can be mixed together. Up comes the messy part now. So we need to get our mixture into our piping bag. There's loads of ways to do this. You can lay down a sheet of greaseproof paper, and then you can make 2 sausage shapes on the paper, roll it up together and squeeze it into a piping bag. Today we're going to try just putting it directly in the piping bag. You don't need a fancy nozzle, you don't need an expensive nozzle. A wide nozzle is very helpful if you're going to use a nozzle. Alternatively, you can just snip the end off the bag, but because it's quite a thick product, it can be difficult to pipe. You can also spoon it into your pots if you want. I'm going to fill up this piping bag and then we'll show you it being piped. Don't worry about mixing your colours too much. As long as you don't obviously go crazy with them, it'll be fine. Now, if only we could work this fast. Could you imagine? So all I'm doing here is separating the 2 different colours into the piping bag. You'll see I've got the piping bag laying down. It might ooze out, it might get everywhere. It's very messy, it's very fun. What you can do if you like is stand the piping bag in a tall sort of jug or vase, something to hold it upright. Excuse me while I just have a bit of a faff and a tidy up. So all I'm doing here is wiping any excess off the bag so that it's not so slippery to hold on to. I'm smooshing that's a technical term, the soap into the bag and twisting the top off, just getting it in a nice comfortable position to hold, ready to pipe. So we're nearly finished now. All I'm going to do is pipe these up into some pots. You'll see that there's many different ways to pipe. You can go round in sort of spiral shapes, you can just keep the nozzles centered and a firm squeeze as you're lifting straight up. You can get all sorts of different attachments. The beauty of these is that each one is unique. The colours will mix together slightly different in the bag, so the finished result will vary from one to another. Obviously you can make them very uniform, and it will just be down to practice and experience really. I'm going to draw this video to a close. I will leave you to just watch the last couple of pots being piped up, and we'll show you the finished result at the end. Enjoy. As you can see, they've all been piped slightly different, just to give you an idea of the different sort of look that can be achieved really. This one was mostly swirl then straight up. This one was swirl all the way around, starting from the bottom to the top. What I will show you in a moment is, if you have the peak that's above where the lid will go, you can give them a bash down on the table and it will help to sort of squash it down a little bit without disturbing the finished top. What I really like about them is that they're all slightly different. So this is something that you can control. If you load your piping bag with a different colour on either side and then pipe them all in the same method, you'll have the same pattern throughout. That's just the finished product. All products and supplies come from Soak Rochford Limited, based in the UK and post worldwide.